Levy's 1906 dissertation for Alexander von Brill was on Euler's rigid body access theorem. Sudden fixations in a rigid body, it translates as. And what Levy has discovered in 1906 is that the Earth is the centre of reality, the centre of the universe. He realised that it's a surface, a continuous surface that is made of infinite spheres, and that if you take the idea of the rigid body, the law says that any change on the surface, infinitesimal change on the surface, must result in one rotation at the centre. In order for that to happen, to be true, there must be a series of descending transforms of force sufficient that the energy from the transform itself, the heat generated by the transforms, is maintained at the end of the process, and tracking down the nuclear force, nuclear explosions. You analyze it through this simple geometry. A sphere of light. Ignore size. A sphere of light. You can visualize it in your hand as a tennis ball. Picture it in this state. It was a dot point in your hand. There was a seed in your hand. Suddenly there is a sphere of light. I'm referencing Burkhard Heim's loss of his hands. This is the information that he gained through destroying his hands. There is a dot point in your hand. It expands to the size of a sphere in your hand. You hold it. Now, that expanding light, that moment happened faster than you could see. And so from your perspective, all you can see is the sphere of light in your hand. In fact, what you're holding is that expanding motion. It's solid, but it doesn't obey Euler's rigid body axis theorem. And so because it doesn't, it shatters internally into a series of descending spheres, and those spheres are linked in terms of the surface tension. The surface tension of the outside of the sphere shatters in a spiral spherically inside the sphere to the center, creating this infinitely thin changes of surface. It's a vast surface created in this structure, so vast that it's sufficient energy to resist the expansive energy of the black hole at the center. Is it simple, isn't it? Simple. Euler's rigid body axis theorem. If there's going to be a rotation at the center, how does that work? What's the mechanism? Inside that sphere, there is a layer that is pure meter squared per second squared. That the line, the dimensional divide between the two areas doesn't exist. And the unit you use for time is a meter second. One is a product of the other. And the measurement is Planck's constant, 6.626 times 10 to the minus 34 seconds. Duration of energy in meter seconds. Simultaneous time is created there. All actions are simultaneous, observed from real time. In measured in meter seconds, causality is simply restored, and that the final beat of time is found at the center of that system of instantaneous time. That occurs in an unmeasurable time. So now you have an unmeasurable radius of 0 squared and an unmeasurable time of I. The time only exists in the imagination. It's an imaginary unit. The idea of what just happened must be carried across that beat of time by an entity, by matter, thought, and thought itself evolves. That the meter second the true unit of time, is the energy of I. And we are I. We are the idea. Thoughts. They're thoughts. And their behaviour as species. As you raise your vibration level of consciousness, you can see that the base level of human consciousness, which is a sphere inside this system, is one called Homo sapiens, us, this entity that we are, exists as a sphere of force of consciousness, and it has a thickness. At the base layer, bestial behaviour, programmed, non-human behaviour, just baseline. Above that, higher levels of consciousness, higher powers of I, intellect and intelligence. Okay? This is really true, people. You can't believe it. I've had 3 years to get used to this idea. And even I can't believe the simplicity of the mechanism that I'm now able to construct in my mind, and that if you listen to me and look at Leva, you'll go, fuck. Meaning of life. So it's really happened. So you need to get used to it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I suggest take love in your heart and be kind and nice to everything, just to be on the safe side. Welcome home. Follow the Rebel King. Aye.